Lesson 1.2, Order of Operations. To evaluate an expression means to find its value. The rule that lets you know which operation to perform first is called the order of operations. So when you see directions that ask you to evaluate the expression, what it means is that you have to do all the operations that you can possibly do and come up with a value. So there is a specific order in which you will perform operations in algebra. Okay, so let's go through the order of operations. I know that this is a review for you, but it's still important that we go through each and every step and make sure that you remember this. Okay, so the first type of operation that you will do is you will perform all operations within grouping symbols. Start with the innermost grouping symbols first. Now, what are grouping symbols? Well, there's the parentheses, that's a grouping symbol. We have brackets, that's a grouping symbol. And we also have the division bar. If there is an expression either above the division bar or below the division bar, those operations need to be done first because you will picture them within a grouping symbol. Again, a division bar is also a grouping symbol. Number 2, you will evaluate all powers. You look for any exponents in your expression and you evaluate them. Once you're done with operations within a grouping symbol, then you will take care of powers, any exponents. Number 3, this is important. You will multiply and divide next. You will multiply and divide in the order in which those operations appear as you look at your expression from left to right. Okay, the way we read from left to right, you will go through your expression looking for multiplication or division, and you will do them in the order in which they appear from left to right. And finally, the last of our operations is addition and subtraction. So you will add and subtract also in order from left to right. It doesn't mean you add first and then subtract. Whichever appears first. If you have more than one addition and subtraction, you must perform them in order from left to right. Oops. Okay, let's continue. Let's practice using order of operations. Write down number 1. 3 plus 42 times 2 minus 5. So as we go through the order of operations, we're first going to look for any grouping symbols, any parentheses, any brackets, any division bars, and in this case we don't have any. Okay, so we can continue. The next thing we're going to look for is any powers, exponents. And in this problem, we don't have any, so we will continue. The next step in the order of operations would be multiplication and division from left to right. Well, we do have an expression of multiplication, 42 times 2. So that will be the operation that we will do. So I'm going to bring down the 3 plus. I'm going to multiply 42 times 2 is 84, and I'm going to bring down the minus 5. Okay, any other multiplication or division? No. So we can go on to the last step, which is addition or subtraction. And remember, we have 2 of those. We have an addition and we have a subtraction. In which order do we do them? We must do them in order from left to right. So looking at this expression, from left to right, first comes addition. So I am sorry. Here we go. So we're going to first add 3 plus 84. 3 plus 84 is 87, and we're going to bring down the minus 5. And there's only one operation left, so we will go ahead and evaluate 87 minus 85 is 82, and that is the value. Okay, let's go on to number 2. Please copy down the problem. 5 times 4, open parentheses, times, that means times, 10 minus 8, close parentheses, plus 20. Okay, so when we first look at this problem, the first thing we're going to look for is any grouping symbol so we can perform the operations within the grouping symbol. There's only one operation within my grouping symbol, and that is subtraction. So in this problem, my first operation is subtraction because it's within the grouping symbol. So let's rewrite this having evaluated that first operation. So I'm going to bring down 5 times 4 times 10 minus 8, which is 2, and then plus 20. Copy everything else down. Okay. All right, so next operation, next thing we're going to look for is exponents. Since we've already done everything within grouping symbols, we go to the second step in the order of operations, which is exponents, but we don't have any, so we'll go on to see if we can do any multiplication or division. And so remember, multiplication and division is done from left to right. So we're first going to evaluate 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. Bring down everything else. Okay, the next step in the order of operations, we're still not done with that step of multiplication and division. There's another multiplication that we can do. So we will do 20 times 2, which is 40. Bring down the plus 20. And that's our last operation. 40 plus 20 is 60, and that's the value of our expression. Okay, so number 3, I want you to do on your own. Pause the video now, and then when you're done, hit play and take a look to make sure you got the right answer. Okay, please check your answer and the related work. The answer for this expression is 0. Take the time to check every step and make sure you did it correctly. Okay, number 4, please do that on your own as well. Please note, I'll start this one with you. Write it down. Take a moment to write it down. 15 minus, open brackets, 10 plus, and then in parentheses, 3 minus 2, close parentheses, squared, close the brackets, plus 6. I'm just going to start this with you. I want you to realize that within these brackets, we have actually 3 operations. We have addition, we have a subtraction that's within a grouping symbol, and we have an exponent. So I'll just start the first step with you would be to take care of the grouping symbol within the grouping symbol. Okay? All right, go ahead and continue. And pause the video, come back and check your work. Okay, so the solution for number 4 is 10. Check your work, make sure that you did that correctly. Okay, for number 5, what we will do here is we will evaluate the algebraic expression. An algebraic expression, you'll recall, includes variables, may include variables, and here for number 5, we have variables and we've defined what each variable's value is. So what we will simply do is we will substitute 2 for A, 6 for B, and 4 for C, and then we will use order of operations to evaluate. So let's go ahead and substitute. A squared would actually be 2 squared. And then 3b is actually 3 times 6 plus 5, and then divided by C, and C equals 4. Okay, so let's recall order of operations. The first thing we're going to do is look for grouping symbols, and we do have a parentheses. But there are two operations within the parentheses. Again, we must follow order of operations. So first, we're going to multiply 3 times 6. That would be our first operation. So let's bring everything down. 2 squared times 3 times 6 is 18 plus 5 divided by 4. I just copy the whole expression down. All right, so the next step is to complete the operations within the grouping symbols. 18 plus 5, so let's do that. So I have 2 squared times 23 divided by 4. Okay, next is, now that we've finished working with the grouping symbol, we will evaluate the exponents. So next comes 2 squared. Now I'm out of room here, so I'm going to go ahead and take this over just because I didn't plan properly, but that's okay. I have room here to finish this up. 2 squared would be 4 times 23 divided by 4. Again, in our order of operations, we now must multiply and divide. And what order do we do that? We must look at the expression and we must multiply or divide in order from left to right. So the first one, as I read my expression from left to right, the first operation that I must do is multiplication. 4 times 23. So 4 times 23 is 92 divided by 4. And so 92 divided by 4 obviously is 23. And so my solution is 23. All right, I'm going to give you time to try number 6 on your own. Remember that I've defined the value of D, F, and G for you. Substitute those values and then use order of operations to evaluate. Hit pause on your video now, and when you are done, come back and check your answer. Okay, so your solution is 26. Check every step and make sure that you did this correctly. Okay, now for some independent practice. On this page, I'm just going to have you do a few problems to practice independently tonight. So I want you to do number 7. I want you to do number 10. I'd like it if you worked on number 12. And lastly, number 14. 7, 10, 12, and 14. And then in looking at algebraic expressions on this page, note that your variables are defined right here. So for these, I'm just going to have you do 2 of them. Go ahead and do number 5 and number 9. Okay, remember to write down any questions that you might have for me. We will go over those tomorrow. And remember to be ready in case there is a pop quiz, and definitely for classwork. All right, God bless you and have a great night.